Hello and welcome to another war match. I'm the theelkspeaks of Team Air, and today I'm playing against Ginyu of Team Aether. And we're getting ready to get started. And I am going to be playing another Dark Daemon deck this week, so you'll get to see that in just a second. Played quite a few Dark Daemons during the war event. This is a really interesting version of it. Nothing particularly exciting to talk about before the match actually starts, aside from the fact that if you were watching my broadcast last week, you'll note that wings were included in last week's deck. Also, you'll note that there are 8 upgrades in this deck, which means that I am a soldier, but I have used 2 relics. And we're going to load in and start searching for the first game of the match. As per standard war rules, it's a best of 5 with no changing of decks between matches. Light Aether that looks like Roll Hope. "31 card version of Roll Hope." That's kind of, 38 card Roll Hope. Well, this means we need an early nightmare. In particular. Also, I have Thunderstorm, so I actually should be more or less okay against Roll Hope as long as I get my Thunderstorms before things get out of hand. So we're going to see 3 Aether Pens come out from Ginyu. And we've got a couple damsels early that should start ramping my quanta into the Azure Dragons that I'm looking to play. Unfortunately, there's unlikely to be anything valuable to steal in this deck. So basically it's going to come down to whether I can draw either of my 2 Thunderstorms in time for this deck to work. Also the fact that Ginyu has to get to 10 Aether Quanta to play the first Fractal, which is a huge key to this deck. Ginyu will be at least 2 more turns before getting the first Fractal. In that time I'll get for sure at least 1 dragon out, and if I draw Air Quanta on the next turn I should have 2 dragons out before the Fractal comes down. Ginyu does technically have the opportunity to play Hope before Fractal here. I don't see any particularly compelling reasons to do that. Oh, Sanctuary. That's kind of obnoxious, but I have an answer because I have a steal. So 1 Sank came down and I steal it. Dims could end up being a problem for me. We'll see how many Dims this deck is running. This looks like a Roll Hope, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of Dims. I do unfortunately end up with only 9 Quanta because I drew the other dragon, so I won't get to play a dragon on the next turn. However, we're still not going to see any Fractal for at least 2 turns, which means they'll have put a pretty significant chunk into Jinyu's health. Ginyu and I have a small amount of personal history. Ginyu absolutely clobbered me in a match in the past season of the Championship League. Probably one of the most severe losses I took in that event. It's the only time we've actually played in an event, so it's interesting. This is only the 2nd time we've had to play against another event. Team Aether has been doing extremely well in war so far. They've had 2 straight 4-1 rounds in order to stabilize their opponents. There's a 2nd Sanctuary and a double Lightning to clear out a dragon, which is kind of obnoxious, but given that I have another dragon to play, it's pretty okay. Double Lightning denied the Fractal from Ginyu for 2 more turns. There could be upgraded dials in here. I'm actually vaguely concerned about upgraded dials. That could hurt significantly. Or miracles. Upgraded dials or miracles are the biggest threats to this deck right now. Yep, there's an up dial. Saw that coming. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and steal your other Sank. Now what this means is that Nightmare will absolutely devastate if I can successfully get it played. I would love to Nightmare a dragon into Jinyu's hand, because that basically will become an unplayable card for the rest of the game for Ginyu. I'm curious to see what Ginyu does with this turn. This is a key turn, I feel, in this match. Oh, unfortunately, it looks like we're heading for a desync. Nope, no desync. A draw and pass. I don't have the quantity to play both Nightmare and Dagger. I feel like Nightmare is the more valuable card here. I'll play the other dragon and Nightmare. There's not a whole lot of AoE present, and that threatens lethal on my following turn. And there goes a dim. So the first dim does in fact go down. Thing is that that does pave the way for a miracle. That could be a problem. I feel like overall I have the relative counter deck in this match, but there are definitely going to be some options that are going to make me need to be careful. I can't imagine a Roll Hope with enough dims to straight up stall out. Given that he's played cards, I know that he has several quote-unquote useless cards in his hand right now. I only have one more steal in the deck, however, so I can't afford to burn the steal on something that's not a power card. Ginyu has 3 useful cards, 4 kind of straw, and there's a Sank. That hurts. That does hurt. Ginyu can try to deck me out, I suppose. I don't feel like this deck is well suited for decking out unless there's some significant amount of miracles I haven't seen. But this is going to be a Sank stall more than a Roll Hope, it looks like. Yeah, there's a second dial, which is your second upgraded card. I just can't hit through some of these cards. Sank stall is going to be obnoxious. I'm not sure the best way to play against Sank stall in this, but There's the second dim. Dims and dials have the potential to just wear me down, so that means that I'm going to need to save my steals for dims in future games of this match, if this does in fact fail. This doesn't look good. So basically, I need to try to get a big nightmare early and clog up a lot of hand space, or I need to save my steals for dims. I can't afford to steal Sanks. It's nightmare functionally a dead card from here on. I can get up to 50 damage in a turn now, which is pretty good if he ever does run out of dims. He's only played 2 so far. I'm not sure how many decks. That does give me a way back in. That's steal. If you don't play it here, I have a steal for that next dim. I need to steal dims on consecutive turns in the late game is my way to actually win this match up. Yeah, I'm probably going to lose the first game, but I think I have a way to play into a later victory. There's the 4th dial. Thunderstorm is a dead card. I want to force out a miracle or two. I need to save my damage to force him to save his lightnings. So he doesn't have room for all of his key cards in his hand. 5th Sank and a 3rd dim. So he has a lot of Sanks, that implies. He in fact has a lot of Sanks, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I'm going to need to kind of disguise this deck as much as I can. He's got 4 dials, he's got 5 Sanks. Since this isn't Roll Hope, Thunderstorm is a dead card to me, and I don't need to play it. I just have to try to nuke, like, after this dim expires. If you've got, like, 2 more dims or some dials or miracles or something, I have problems. But I need to not focus on eliminating your healing. You're going to heal 20 per turn, and I just have to get past that. Yeah. there go the last two lightnings, which I was suspecting were in the deck. And there goes the fourth dim. This is a really good time for me to steal that and play all of those, which leads to a pretty significant turn's worth of damage. If I can steal 3 of the dims, I'm denying him 9 turns of protection. There goes dial number 5. He has 6 dials. And several dims, we could have problems. Yep, there's the 6th dial. So it's a guaranteed 6 turns of protection. Probably didn't need to play that, but he has a guaranteed 6 turns of protection from his 6 dials. Which means that I need to... Okay. Yep, there's a 5th dimensional shield. So I lose the game. He had me locked down for a while. There wasn't a whole lot of options, but if I had been trying to play into a Sank stall instead of into a roll hope, I would have had better chances. 9th pendulum. Alright. Well, we're down 0-1 here. Let's see what I can do in future games. We'll see whether I have good options to play back against that. Oh. Against... So how many cards did I see? I saw about 9 pens, 6 lightnings is 15. 5 sanks and 5 dims is 25. 6 tiles is 31. So there's 7 mystery cards in the deck. Going to bet Whoa, it says it's not connecting to the server correctly? Let's try that again. Going to bet there's at least 2 more pens, probably 1 more dim. Alright, let's see what I got. I have 3 air quanta on the first turn, which is not going to be enough. 4 air quanta on the first turn. And that gives me 2 more turns before I can play Nightmare. We'll see whether you get an early sank out or not. If you get an early sank, I'm just abandoning my hopes of ever playing Nightmare this game. Because I need to try to deal with your turns of protection. You have net 24 turns of protection, which is absurd. And so, I need to just try to blitz through that. I can't let you draw through your whole deck. And with 11 protection cards, that's kind of difficult for me to stop. But you'll see how low I can get you before you start trying to stabilize. There's probably a miracle or 2 in there, which would be a real problem. I will deny you 1 draw, just because I can. It's not a perfect value of Nightmare, but I'll deny you a draw. And anytime I can deny a draw, that's value in this matchup. Because Nightmare is very likely to not get any value at all in this matchup. There goes the first dial. I was expecting that, but there we go. Let's just start ramping Quanta fast. So you used all of your upgrades, assuming you used no relics, on dials, which is probably the correct decision for that deck anyway. There's no other cards that would be that meaningful to have upgraded aside from maybe Sanks. There goes the first Sank, and there goes the second dial. You're going to try to dial me for a number of turns, huh? That's interesting. I wonder if I can draw a soul and enough dragons at exactly the right time. When you switch from dials into dims, I can nuke. That has to be my intended play. There goes 2 lightnings and first dim. First dim. I can nuke through the first dim, but that's not going to be enough nuking. Let's see how much damage do I hit. 9, 3, 4, 50, 60, 17. It'll be 23 damage, which is net damage of less than that. Yeah, it's worth a try. Because that's saying right now you either stall me this turn, or I win the game if I draw a dragon. And you technically don't know whether I even have a dragon in my hand, so you could be looking at lethal on the board if there's a dragon in my hand. So that forces the stall card out here. Which is the first step of my correct game plan, is I have to force out the stall cards. Dials, ironically, don't get you out of it here. Which is important to note that dials, with only one sank in play, don't give you enough healing, because my dagger actually heals more, and it doesn't take you out of lethal range. I've got 2 more steals in my deck. I really just need to top deck a second steel. I need to top deck a second steel. Fairly near future. There goes another dial. Now you can recover a little bit. With only a net healing of 2 per turn, you're not actually recovering that much, and I'm forcing you to go through your dials fairly quickly. But I can't play for the TTK. Playing for TTK would be kind of okay here, but there's 5th dial. Yeah, I'm forcing the dials out early so that when I get these crazy dragon combos late, there's still 3 more dragons sitting in this deck. So if I get my steals off the deck at the right time, I can combo down for victory. There's only 1 more dial left in the deck, and that's the only absolute stop to my attack. There's the dim. As we expected. Second dim is down. Now you're going to heal 12 per turn for 3 turns. That's some significant net healing. I need to draw my dragons early. There's the next dragon. The threat sits in my hand. If I top deck the last 2 steals, this is devastating. Yeah, I really need to top deck 2 steals. Nope, not a steal. There are 2 steals in my last 10 cards. And when those 2 steals come makes the biggest difference. Okay, that's it. Oh, that's huge. That is huge. That's a big turn of damage right there. And I don't think he knows that I have a steel in my hand. I didn't play it against the last dim. If I top deck a dragon, do I have this? Let's see, that's 27, 35, 41 damage. Which means I need to top deck 8 damage. I need to top deck 8 damage into you. So if I top deck either of the last 2 dragons, I need to oh shoot, 2 lightnings and a dial. That's the last dial in the deck, but that's 2 lightnings gone. Alright. There are 2 dragons in this deck. Miracle is the most potentially devastating card. A miracle comes and I've basically lost. Healing, that's not good for me, but I don't have any good way to put the damage on faster, which means that there's at least 3 dims left in this deck, so I need to top deck a steal because a dim has to come out this turn or Ginyu loses. I need to top deck a steal or a dragon here, which is 3 cards out of 7 in my deck, which is not actually that terrible of odds. Yep, there's the miracle. There's at least 1 miracle in this deck. And that was a card I didn't want to see. I still have those 3 cards in my deck that I need to draw. But getting down to 66 puts that up to 82 with the healing. They're dealing net 18 per turn, which is actually okay, but I need more dragons and I need them faster. Yeah, because 48 would jump to 64. I have about enough turns left in this game if I draw my right cards. And there's no more miracles. There's the first dim, or the next dim, I should say, third of the game. Total, I have to steal it on the first turn of the play or I have no chance whatsoever. 30 will jump you to 46. So you have 28, 34, and you're at 46, so I can't top deck a win on the next turn. That's a problem. That's really a problem. There comes the last double lightning combo. And there comes my dragon, a couple turns too slow, but if there's no more miracle, I can still top deck a steal and get out of this. So I need there not to be a second miracle in this deck. Because even with the healing, that's 28. I've got 28 even without my dagger. Dim. 1 out of 3. No! Oh, no. Jumps to 44. There's the steal. Do I have the... Well, you've got to play it all out right here. Nope, that's not enough. 1 damage short. Oh my god. If you have... There's at least 1 dim left. Maybe 2 dims left. And if that's the bottom card of your deck... Oh my god. Oh my god. Just doesn't do it. Yeah. There's that last dim. Last damselfly. Earlier that last damselfly even would have made a difference. Fairly convinced there is no second miracle in this deck. And there's quite possibly only 5 dims, given the draw rates that I've seen. But oh my god. Well, this matchup is winnable. And we'll get right into game 3. I'll update the scoreboard over there. Oh my god. That was crushing. That was brutal. Okay, let's see where we're at. We've got 3 Quana coming, which means we have Nightmare Opportunity, maybe. Oh my god. 3 pens. We don't care about pens at this point anyway. And there's the number of pens we see doesn't really matter in the early game. We need to aggressively put the pressure down and try to get this. We need to pressure the dims out early. Okay, I need to draw a Quana card this turn. We'll start with small baby steps. I need to draw a Quana card this turn. If I get the Quana card, I can at least get 1 draw denied out of my nightmare. Yep, there we go. We'll get it. That means that I get at least 1 off the dragon. My damage is a little slower because I drew pillars and pens before damsels this game. I thought we had such a good chance when I saw a kind of stally roll hope just looking at the mark and deck size, but turned out that was not it. I can't afford to deny that draw that way. I have to play the dragon, but I can't deny the draw. Now I'm effectively limiting his play. I guess I'm limiting the play a little bit. Okay, yeah, there goes the sank. We knew that was coming. We'll be alright if we can get through the first time. Basically, I need to get through before a miracle comes down. There goes the first double lightning, which was kind of expected. Set up, that's 6 more coming down. I need another Quana card this next turn, and I'm actually in pretty okay shape, because I'll have 3 early dragons, which means that I can kind of burst through a dim chain with steals. I've got some playable options. There it is, there's the airpen. I'll have 3 dragons in the first half of my deck and 2 steals, which are the real this deck, and it will just I could use the scepter here. I could really use the scepter to come out. Or, stiletto, I mean. Yet more nightmares I'm not going to get value out of this game. Now there's an opportunity for a miracle. But I really need to bait Ginyu into not playing the miracle when playing the miracle would be the correct play. So there goes first dim. I think I have to just straight up steal it, actually. My damage is kind of low at this point, and this isn't the most valuable turn to get through a dim on. But I have to get the pressure down, or I won't get to burn through dials, so I have to do it. My late game effective damage is 12 from a damsel plus 27 from dragons is 45 per turn is my late game damage when I take into account the things he has to kill them. And 45 isn't really great for nuking. But this will get him so low. So low, but I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do 2 steals like that. The first was good, but the second would be an overextension, I think. Because then, yeah, if I steal here, he probably has at least 1 dial by now. And if he has the dials, he can run 6 dials, and I've got real problems already. So I have to just make this play like that. I have to try to draw into my dragons. If I draw 2 dragons on my next 2 plays, I win. I think. I probably win. If I draw like 2 dragons and maybe a steal on my next 3 plays, I would win. There are 3 dragons left in the deck and 1 steal. Thunderstorm. I hate this card in this matchup. Would have been great in the Roll Hope that I thought they brought. But in this matchup, it's a no-go. So we'll skip that card. Let's see what else we've got to work with. See what he brings after he brings his second dim down. The second dim's going out of play this turn. 18, 24 damage, hitting him into 55 health. So we shouldn't be too worried, especially not with that. And there's a third dim. As I suspected, there's a dagger. I can't justify stealing that either. We might have already lost this. Because I'm seeing a dial chain coming after this dim goes away. And that's a problem that I don't have a whole lot of answer to. Plus I'm just letting him heal up too far, but I don't have enough dragons to get through this. There's 3 dragons in the last 9 cards of this deck. That's just not a good enough draw. Alright, after this turn, I have to try to burn through things. With 6 dials left in his deck, it's probably already over. But I couldn't afford to steal that either, because he's just going to miracle back up. gives us a start. But now comes a dial. Now you heal 6. And then another dial, and then you heal another 6. And I'm going to need to, like, steal through 2 dims on consecutive turns without you drawing into your lightnings. Or your miracle. If you bottom deck miracle, I might pull this out. No, because there's... You have to bottom deck miracle and some of the dials, I guess? That's obnoxious. You have to bottom deck miracle and some of the dials. You need to have a chance. For bonus points, he gets to use the dials for free to power draw through that deck too, or at least what's left of it. Pulverizer could have ended the game. There's the second double lightning combo. Again, we're not showing our last dragon. There's one more dragon in the deck. 4 more dials and 2 more dims in his deck, which is just over. Well, we'll discard a thunderstorm, because there's nothing better to do. There's the third double lightning combo. That really hurts. That really, really hurts. Oh, now my late game damage is 45, but he gets to heal 16. I need double steal here. I need steal to not be the last card in my deck. Also, he has 3 dials left. So you need him to not have dials or miracle for 2 turns. And to play neither dials or miracle. Yep, that's game. That's game over. That dial ends the game. Son of a gun. $55 health. Yeah, because my late game damage is 45. We've already concluded that, right? Yeah, 27. 39. And there's the 5th die, which really ends it for real this time. Well, might as well just start playing cards dramatically. It's the series over. soon as Ginyu ends his last turn here, I'll deck out, and that will be 0-3. Wow. Well, first game played into a different deck than the deck I thought I was playing into. Second game, I didn't get my last steal. And the third game, I could have maybe had a chance if I got my dragons a little earlier. But on the whole, that deck was probably a counter to our deck, so sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that looks like it was one of those times. Good games, Ginyu, and hopefully I'll get to see you all next week. Thanks for watching, guys.